Welcome to the Collecting Insight podcast. I'm Lori.
And I'm Sara.
And we're here to share our exploration into being human.
Inspired by coffee meetups, we dive into topics that confound, mystify, and inspire us, leading to a space where we can better understand and enjoy this precious life.
Our perspectives are definitely distinct, but it's the intersection between them that our most amazing conversations and insights erupt.
We are so excited you're here. Let's get started.
Hi, Sara.
Hello, Lori.
We are finally in person.
I know.
It's so nice, except that we talked for about an hour and a half before we even began, so we might be all talked out. No, just kidding. Yeah.
I know, but they were good talks. But as usual, I wish that we'd recorded some of it.
Yeah.
I know. We always have such insightful things to say when we're not recording.
Yes. One of these days, one of us will record without the other knowing, and then, you know, maybe that will be.
I did think about it because I came in knowing I wanted to tell you something or talk. And so I probably should have hit record.
Yeah.
But not.
Right.
But then we carried it to 250 other topics.
Right.
So that's what we didn't anticipate.
Yeah. But our topic for today is one that everybody, I think, will have experience with. And that is, has your life ever been touched or changed by a dog? Right?
Beautiful. Yeah. Yes.
And I mean, as humans, we've had dogs by our sides for like 15,000 years or something. Like originally it was like the wolves that, would come to visit, and it was the ones that were like not as aggressive that humans would feed. And then they sort of became pets. And then I guess their whole heads morphed and they became rounder and their ears became floppier. And
it's really kind of amazing. So our dog, Layla, I always call her a wolf.
Yeah.
Because I feel like she wants to be a wolf.
Yeah.
And then she says she is a wolf. But yeah, I mean, it's incredible when you think about that history and how long they've kind of been by our side.
Yeah.
And in a variety of ways.
Right. And like what they do for us, I know that like they say if you put your face to a dog's face and kiss their head, that like it produces the hormone oxytocin. That is the same hormone that's produced when we're rocking our newborn babies or snuggling them on our chest.
Yeah.
And it apparently does the same for the dog as the human, which is so incredible. It's like a anti-anxiety drug. They are. I think they are,
Well, and there's probably so many things that create that kind of reciprocity that we don't know. You know what I mean? And we don't, like I grew up with dogs and I didn't grow up thinking about that sort of mutual benefit, but undoubtedly I was receiving it. And it's nice to think that Louise and Polly were receiving it as well, even while I was like being dragged around by their tail.
Right. And I think like the most amazing thing about dogs is that it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, Republican, Democrat, like they just love us, right? It doesn't matter if you're homeless or you have this huge house, like they're right by your sides. We see it all the time. And it's just this like beautiful bond, right?
Yeah.
And so it's something like we can all universally relate to,
Yes. And I think there are people who don't resonate with dogs as well.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
yes.
I don't think it's necessarily everyone, but I think that sort of being able to connect with a different species is beautiful.
Yeah. I do have two friends. I have two old English bulldogs. They're not English, they're English bulldogs that were bred to be more athletic and breathe a little bit easier, be a little bit healthier. But they don't know personal space. And I have two good friends that come over to my house, periodically separately, and they just do not like dogs. And the dogs are like magnets. They will not leave them alone. It's like they almost sense it and they're just like, they're getting their hair all over them. It cracks me up. I mean, I mean, there are some people that do not like dogs, just as, human beings have bad interactions sometimes. I mean, it happens with humans and dogs, and then people get afraid and they have a lifelong fear of it.
Totally. It's interesting. I wonder what it is, because I've often wondered this as I try to sort of understand. So right now we have one dog. Our second dog passed away in December, a few months ago. But, her behavior at various times, the way she barks or the way you can sort of sense anxiety or, it's so interesting to kind of watch. And often I feel like it mirrors us.
Oh, it totally
Yes.
does.
I know. Well, I should say that's not true. Kelly right now, my husband, is laughing because he's like, no, you tell me it mirrors me.
Yeah.
And that's true. I don't necessarily see myself, but I'm like, you are anxious, so she's anxious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's so true.
Uh-huh.
Our one dog, Huxley, he is like an emotional magnet, kind of. And a lot of people that have stayed even overnight in my house have had this experience. I had a one dear friend and dog sitter stay with him and she called me and she was like, Lori, I was so sad last night. I was just like, she was sad about something and she was just like kind of sobbing and he crawled right up on her chest and like put his head on her head. And she said, he is unbelievable. And I was a little bit sad about something last night and he did the same thing. He just crawls right up and he almost waits till your heartbeat slows or something.
Yes.
And then he gets off.
Oh, it's so sweet.
He's unbelievable. He's such a soul.
That feeling. So Kelly, again, who knew this would be an episode about Kelly and dogs? Kelly, when we first got our dog, Smokey, who I'd always dreamed about. So I dreamt 2 years before Smokey got to us, which was before we had our child. I dreamt of having a black lab named Smokey. And so she had an entire persona before we got her. But Kelly was not like, our dogs were like on our furniture, in our beds. Kelly was like, that is not happening.
Yeah.
Although Smokey, it did happen. I think post Smokey, he was like, this isn't happening anymore. Not the bed, but the couches. But I miss that sort of proximity during like those peaceful moments. And I tell him that all the time because I don't know what your feeling is about cats. How do you feel about cats?
Oh, I love cats, but they, depending on their personalities, they can be a little bit aloof, but not all of them.
No, so Hunter was our one and only cat, as Kelly will say. Ella and I went into the Humane Society and came out with a cat. And because we had 2 dogs. And Hunter would I'd be like laying on the couch watching television, talking to Kelly. She would sit right on my chest, purring with her with her nose to my chin. And that is the closest that I have ever felt in union with an animal.
Yeah.
It's like because her purr was with my heartbeat.
Yeah.
And so I love
synchronicity, right?
I love the idea that you have a dog who sort of does that same thing because that was just beautiful. I miss that now that we don't have her.
So this is a really interesting story. When my husband and I were first married, like a year married, we were living in this little camp and it was out on Marble Island and his parents lived about 1.5 miles away from us. At the time, we were just there for the summer. We were just coming back from living in Europe. And I was newly pregnant, but I hadn't told anybody, because we were kind of waiting to see what would happen. Some things were going on.
Yeah.
And we had just moved back from Europe. So I was alone. And Jerry was doing some internship or something. And every day, his dog, Chester, who lived with his parents, his dog that he had all growing up, the day that I found out I was pregnant, he would show up. He would run 1.5 miles down these winding roads, down into the woods, into the camp. And I would go outside, I would find him sitting not on the hood of the car, but the roof of the car.
Oh my gosh.
He would just be staring at me. And then he'd come in and he wouldn't leave my side all day until I brought him home every day. And I felt like he sort of knew.
Yeah, probably. Was protective.
Chester, he was unbelievable.
Oh, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So how did Chester respond? Were you still there when, was this Gretchen, your first?
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
How did Chester respond with Gretchen as a baby?
I think he passed.
Okay, before. Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was a close timing with that. And then we had also moved away. So I don't remember that part.
Okay.
I just remember it was crazy. It was the most beautiful thing. And I just kind of felt him like he's on the roof of the car again, on the roof,
My
the top.
Yes. Well, I always think like we have no idea what Chester was feeling, sensing. And I'm going to say sensing because I'm like, we see the world through the senses that we have.
Yeah.
But who's to know? And we even not only see the world, we measure the world. So we scientifically understand the senses that we have because that's our frame of reference.
Right.
But who's to know what Chester was sensing and feeling when you were pregnant,
right?
Like with the baby.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, I that's one piece. Like this is really weird, but I look forward to one day, hopefully being on the other side and understanding and being able to see all of these connections that are happening here that we don't know exist.
I don't understand.
Gosh.
Yeah, it is amazing.
Because clearly Chester knew something.
He did. Mm-hmm. And the other thing about dogs, so one time when Huxley was a puppy, he was just 2 months old. We brought him on a family vacation. We go every year to the same beach. And it was the first time we had a dog with us. And it was the craziest, it was the craziest thing because in the past when we had gone on these vacations, we just go to the beach and we kind of be just insular to our family. And we would have so much fun together and everything. But this vacation was different because everyone we walked by would stop. If we were at the beach, they'd sit with us and just sit down and talk to us because the puppy was there.
Right.
And it sort of gave us this sense of community on our vacation. And we would be talking and hearing everyone else's stories about why they came back to the same place all the time. And you just felt this friendliness and this love just beyond your family because of the dog. And I think that happens, when we walk our dogs, people, if you're walking down the street, people might not say anything in New England, but if you have a dog, they will.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder what that is. I wonder if that is, well, I think our relationship with dogs, you and I were talking about this before, that, our relationship with each other as humans feels hard sometimes because there's so much around us all the time, so many layers, like you said in the very beginning, socioeconomic status, political leanings, family, who knows, we have all these things that are stuck between us. But a dog, we get to just be our whole selves. And so when they're around us, we can all be that with each other.
Yeah.
Wonder how we achieve that without the dogs, but
or maybe they're the key to it. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I was listening to, and I probably should have gotten this name before this, but I was listening to the talk tracks of the telepathy tapes, and there's one episode all about animals, and there was this animal communicator.
Yes, I've listened to that. Yes.
And what was so incredible, so she works with large animals in conservation. She doesn't work with domestic animals, but it really struck me a story she was telling about this vegetable garden that someone had that was massive, and it was acres and acres of property, and they had it enclosed in this impenetrable fence. But the baboons would come and use the fence as a trampoline and jump and jump and jump until they broke it open to get in to eat the vegetables. And this animal communicator had a conversation with the baboons and said, why are you doing this? This is food for the people to eat. And the baboon said, no, but they're not eating it. They're bringing it in and putting it on the counter, and then it goes bad and they throw it away. They never eat it. And that alone was fascinating. And then they had a whole conversation about what we do with food, that we they didn't understand why we cook. To them, you eat it on its own, it doesn't necessarily need to come together, and they thought we were killing it by eating it. But I'm that just, it blew my mind because I'm what is Layla, our dog, what is Layla thinking right now about the things that we do and the choices we make? So I'm in the hair salon the day after I listened to this, and my stylist brings her two dogs, Cookie and Sunny. And so I'm sitting there waiting to for Stacy to finish with her last person. And I'm like, I'm just going to see if I can talk to this dog. So I say to Sunny, the doodle, I'm like, do you have anything you want to ask us? Because that's what this animal communicator does. And Sunny said, why don't you bark? As like a species. And it was so interesting because it was like, why don't you bark? Because you can bark. So why don't you?
We bark.
So why don't you bark?
We yell.
Like, why don't you bark like we bark? Communicate. And it was so like sweet. And I'm like, how many other things are they watching? Like these baboons were.
Yep.
With throwing away vegetables and being like, why are you people doing this?
I know. Let's not get into the food waste thing because I could talk about that for a long time. It's incredible. Like just their instincts,
Yeah.
Like if you even think of the therapy dogs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or like, the dogs that are with someone who is epileptic or has seizures and they can sense them coming on before the person does.
Yeah.
That's crazy
Yes.
to me. Like, so they'll just sense it and they go and they push the person to, they have a way that they get them to lie on the floor.
Yes.
And then they just sit, they're like hovering over them, making sure they don't move so that they're safe. Like how would they learn that? How are they taught that? I can't comprehend that.
I know.
It's such an instinctual thing.
I don't think we can. Cause like I said, I think it's a sense that we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't have.
Right.
So it's not sight, taste, like hearing. It's not one of those. It's something else.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is, my sort of belief system that much of it is organized purposefully. Their role may be to help us, like to solely help us because we are limited. Like I feel like the more that I read and explore, the more I feel like we're actually in some ways not inadequate, but we're unique. It's hard to be human sometimes in some ways. And so I think they are supporting us. A lot of people call dogs angels.
Yeah. Well, it's like the life of a dog, like just that saying. It's like they don't worry about anything.
Yeah.
They're just on their backs with their bellies up and,
I know.
waiting to receive the love and give it.
I do sometimes think, I don't know if you do, but I sometimes feel like Layla only gets to eat twice a day.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
And I'm just like, is she, do you ever feel like if you're eating and your dog is not eating, like, do you feel guilty?
Well, Millie, my smaller dog, she kind of just waits on her dog bed and like she'll see if Huxley's going to get a scrap from me.
Yes.
But Huxley, I never eat without him by my side. Like he is food obsessed.
Yes.
Yeah. He would be 10,000. He would implode if we didn't limit him. And so he just stares at me the whole time. I pretend he's just staring at me with love, but it's just for the food.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
And it does make you feel guilty. But I try to use those moments to feed him healthy things like blueberries or
I know mine are
salmon.
Too finicky. I'm like, oh my goodness, you guys. But,
Huxley, anything.
They now eat Ollie food.
Yeah.
So we went to a long time ago. So Lexi was our doodle and she had like skin issues. She had hot spots.
Yeah.
And the vet couldn't figure it out. And we went to the Chi Vet in Shelburne.
Yeah.
Who suggested this raw food.
Yeah.
And that was it like 2
Is it
years
raw
old.
food or
Yes.
cooked? Oh, it's raw.
And she never had hot spots again.
Wow.
And so Layla is on the raw food as well. It's like we have half raw food, half dry food.
Uh-huh.
And it works really well for them.
That's great.
But I was like kind of amazed at that.
Raw is an uncooked.
Yes.
So Ollie has raw food now.
Yeah.
Wow. That's good to know.
Yeah. And it was really like, as you think about maybe what I don't know what
their ancestors ate raw food.
Right. What they're meant to eat. And it was really amazing when it just took away her symptoms completely.
Amazing.
I know.
That's lucky.
And I would never have thought of that.
Yeah.
I know.
So, I mean, dogs are wonderful, right? But I know there's a lot of people out there, myself included, that sometimes you get to a point where the dog or, dogs are miswired sometimes like us humans are.
Yeah.
And, many people have to give them away.
Yeah.
Where they're either too aggressive or something, like we had this one dog. We waited to get a dog until our kids were old enough, so it wouldn't be such a distraction. So I think our youngest was maybe 5 or 6.
Mm.
And so since I love Chester so much, my husband's dog, I always thought he was a full-bred Chesapeake Bay Retriever. He was not.
Okay.
He was a mutt.
Yeah.
He had that in him, part lab, part Chessie. But we also live near the water, so I thought this is perfect. They're great swimmers. They're great hunters. So we went out and we got ourselves a Chesapeake Bay Retriever, and his name was Bruno. And we had Bruno for 4 years, and that dog made our lives total chaos.
Oh, wow.
And we grew up with dogs, so we knew how to train them, and our kids were pretty good at the consistency and following through. But he was really, really tough. Like if he was mad, there was one of my daughters wasn't his favorite. He'd just go up and like lift his leg and pee on her bed on her folded laundry, like just total chaos. Like grabbing things out of the pantry, like remember those chocolate milk boxes?
Yeah.
Like that the kids would go to those organic chocolate. He'd like bite one and run around the kitchen, squirting all over the white walls, like dead frozen squirrels in his mouth, running around the house and like getting really aggressive when you try to take it away. And he was like horrible all day. And then my husband would come home from work and he would be great for about an hour, and then he would lose it. But it got to the point where it was so bad. Our family went to see remember that Marley and Me movie?
Yeah.
And we were watching it, and they were like, "Mommy, like Bruno is so much worse than this," And then it got to a point where people were like, "You got to give that dog away," because he got aggressive a couple times. And then one day he bit me.
Oh, wow,
like
Lord.
Really, I was just trying to like control him from in the house.
Yeah,
he was being crazy, and I went to grab his collar, and he turned around, and they are animals and they are strong. And I felt like my whole hand was crushed,
Wow.
I still have a scar from it. But anyway, we brought him to training and we had to leave him there. We were trying to decide what to do. Like it was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back, And it was my 11-year-old daughter. I remember we got to this trainer and he had these dogs on these little kennels. I mean, this dog like grew up sitting in front of a fire, in a dog bed. And I was like, can you just keep him in your house? And like, I almost couldn't leave. And it was like my 11-year-old daughter, Anissa, she was like, Mom, you got to do this. Like, that's how much chaos it was like I felt her strength in that moment. It was like one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And I know I have a couple of friends, more than a couple of friends that have had to.
Oh, wow.
Either put a dog down or give it away.
Yeah.
It's really like, it's hard. It's like heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
But they just don't always fit. We ended up giving him to a hunter.
Yeah.
And, I kept calling, trying to explain, because he's like, he'll be fine. He's like one of those types of people. And, I stopped calling when he had bit a hole in his dining room table. He had locked his pregnant fiance in the bathroom for 2 hours. Someone came to feed him at night. The guy was in Boston, wouldn't let the guy back in the house. Like it was like 20 below. Like he was wired wrong. But for 4 years, it caused so much chaos in our house and then so much sadness, One of my daughters was she couldn't even look at me for a couple of weeks. It was like all my fault.
Well, did you have trauma from the bite? Like, I would think that I would feel potentially a sense of trepidation about sort of the next dog or.
No, I didn't.
That's pretty amazing.
I didn't feel that. I felt like it was almost like his message, like, this is not working.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, it was like so long in coming.
Yes.
And my husband and I and my family, we're just loyal.
Yeah.
We were like, we're going to do this. We're going to make this work. We tried everything. I mean, that dog had like 17 surgeries because of like eating rock. I mean, he was just not right in the head.
Yes.
And I think the breeder stopped breeding them after that.
Oh, wow.
He discontinued. Like it was, so I just, I wanted to mention it because, we say everything's all hunky-dory.
Yeah, no.
It's not always perfect.
Yeah.
And that was
Yes.
brutal. And then one time I saw this young guy with a Chessie. You don't see them that much. They're sort of distinct looking.
Mm-hmm.
And he had his dog in the back of a pickup truck. And I was with the same daughter, Anissa. I walked up to him in the parking lot and I was like, "Is that a Chessie?" And I said, "Oh, it was a she. She's beautiful." I said, "We had to give ours away." And he came at me. He said, "You gave your dog away? Would you give your daughter away? You can't.
That's unfair.
That's like giving your kid away." And I said, "Well, he bit me." And I just walked away and we were both shaking,
Wow.
So it's just.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I hope that he learned from that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I did feel very guilty because there was a lot of guilt that came along with that. But I just kind of wanted to acknowledge people.
Yeah.
And I know I have a friend right now that rescued a dog and we've rescued before.
Yep.
They turned out they were easier than Bruno.
Yes.
But it can really turn your life upside down too. So you have to be ready.
Yeah.
To put the time in and also know when your home is not a fit for them.
Yes. I know I've never been through that, but I would imagine it's immensely difficult. So Layla, it was interesting. So we had our first dog, Smokey, and then Lexi, who was our golden doodle, who we got from a friend's sister's in-laws because she got the doodle. Yeah. She was an older woman and then couldn't take care of her. So we got her at 6 months old. So she's sort of a rescue, sort of not. But Layla, we did get. Smokey passed away 2 days before we moved.
I remember you telling that
almost like
story.
She knew. Yeah. And then we moved into the new house. And within the first month, I just felt like there was an emptiness. Even though we had Lexi, the dog, and Hunter, the cat, it just didn't feel right. And I was at pickup one day and I pulled up dogs, saw Layla, and knew. So that I showed other parents picking up. I was like, "This is our dog." And we went through Golden Hug's rescue. She was a dog from Arkansas. And we had to go through the vetting process and be interviewed. And someone came and looked at our house, and they wanted to make sure, because it's so soon after Smokey's death, that we weren't just trying to have another Smokey, because Layla wasn't going to be.
Right.
And they determined we were ready, but we really were ready immediately, because some people say you should wait a year. Some people have different. And I think I've learned that it's just whatever feels most aligned with you, because Layla was perfect for us.
Right. It's different for everybody, just like the grieving process.
Right.
It's there's no rules around that.
Yes.
There can't be.
No.
You have to just go with your feelings on that one, I think.
And it was so cute because her interaction with the cat, like there's a video of both of them meeting each other and just coming in and touching noses. And it was just like, it was so beautiful to watch how we can all commune differently, even different species, because just like the guy who came up to you and said, how could you, maybe we need to be a little bit more human in our interactions, a bit more natural.
Yeah.
Well,
I think he was just so in love with his dog.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of drew me to talking to both of them. And every time I saw Chessie, I was like drawn, like I was always like, I want to see him again. I'm going to run into him, because he was living in Vermont,
Wow.
Yeah. It was like one of the hardest things ever to do. And
I'm sure.
It was so sad. And, you feel like talk about feeling like a failure,
Yeah.
You do. You feel like I felt like I failed him.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the right place for him.
No, and he knew that clearly.
Yeah, I think
he wasn't happy.
Yeah, and I thought that like giving him to a hunter, because they are hunting dogs as well, would have been like, he seemed like a one-person dog, not someone to come into a 6-person family that was very busy.
Do you see it now as a loving thing that you did?
No.
I do.
You do?
I see it as a loving thing that you did Not for, yes, for your family, but that's easy to see. I see it as a loving thing you did for him
Yeah.
because he wasn't happy
Yeah.
in that situation.
Yeah. I mean, you know how dogs, most dogs, this is getting negative, but
No.
most dogs protect you. But I remember this one time I'd gone down to New York City with my son, and he'd never been there, and we were gone for 2 days. And so we come back and there's a lot to do, and Bruno hadn't been exercised as much as he should. And so I'm like, it was like January, and there was like a slight snow covering, on the ice, which I didn't see the ice underneath the snow. And I was like, I'm going to take him for a run because that was really good for him. And so we went out, and we went out for a run, and I flew across this ice. I broke my ankle in a bunch of different places. And it was like, I saw my foot was hanging, Sarah. It was like hanging at an angle. And so I was like way, way up to the road. So, those driveway stakes?
Yeah.
I grabbed one, and I was like trying to he took it away from me. He was like running around with it. And I was like, Bruno! Like, his instinct wasn't like, she's hurt.
Yes.
Help her.
Yeah.
Like, he was like running or taking the stick from me. So I'm like, so I had to crawl on my stomach as he's got this. I was like, oh my God. I mean, I could tell you stories on and on and on.
Wow.
Yeah. I guess there were some lessons for me to learn from him.
Yeah.
But I didn't ever stop us from getting another dog. I just knew it was going to be a very friendly, family-friendly, non-aggressive breed.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. Well, and that is, so I have not finished it, but I've read part of This Dog Will Change Your Life, which came out a couple of weeks ago. And I think from that, we have to kind of respect dogs as well. Meaning not that you weren't respecting Bruno, and I don't know that I ever looked at it this way, but different breeds are bred
for different
things and different reasons.
Right.
And so it does require a bit of thought in terms of what is going to work and what you're able to sort of handle. Like Layla, like you said, having a rescue, you really, sometimes it's hard because you don't
where they
really
came
know.
From. Yeah.
And, Layla is beautiful. I'm not going to say but, and, she won't go in certain rooms of the house because of the way that the floor is.
Yeah.
She's afraid. You know, she walks into doggy daycare and she races across certain floors because she's afraid of them. You know what I mean? And that's something that she has always had, and so if you aren't in a space where you can sort of understand that about her, you know what I mean? It would be hard. And, when you have a family, I mean, there was no choice. I mean, that's so clear to me and probably to anyone who's hearing this. But it's an important decision. And sometimes, that's a person who's living or a thing that's living in your house, with your family, who's part of your family.
Part of your family.
Yeah.
He's part of our family.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bruno, I love that dog, man. I did. And he was sweet. He was sweet,
Yeah.
When he was sleeping on your foot, he was that did happen too.
Uh-huh.
But it was just the chaos 99% of the time,
Yes.
Yeah.
So my friend Christy, who has a cat named Rosie Freckles.
I've seen some videos of Rosie Freckles.
I am obsessed with this cat for so many reasons. But the antics, I'm I would my heart would race hanging from banisters, it's just amazing.
It's a crazy cat.
It really, but such what I feel such vibrancy.
Yeah.
She just makes everything alive.
Yeah.
She runs the show. She's beautiful, sweet, and just so alive. It brings, different animals, I think, bring different things to the household.
Yeah.
And
I've seen videos of that cat. We'll have to put one up on our social media if Christy allows us.
Yes, she would.
Yeah, let's, Christy,
love it.
We want one of those. Yes,
Okay.
I've seen those, and they're sort of mesmerizing. That cat is mesmerizing.
She is. Oh, I just got goosebumps.
Yeah.
I adore her.
Yeah.
I just adore her.
Well, she's adorable. Just her antics or something. It's not a normal cat.
Well,
not that there's ever a norm,
Yeah,
but it's the personality is just big.
Yes. And I think that, what I've sort of learned, because I had a cat growing up as well, because my sister, when my mother worked in Montpelier and was there during the week because she worked for the governor and would then come home on Fridays and the weekends. And my sister during this time decided that she just went and adopted a cat and brought it home. And that was the first cat we had. But what's interesting, I wonder if cats to a certain degree reflect their owners too, not in a good or a bad way, but probably why not all of us align in the same way not all of us align with dogs. Because my experience, I don't know. I love them. Kelly says we're not getting another one.
Yeah.
But I do. I enjoy them. They're so different than dogs. They're like wiser in a way.
Oh yeah, they're very smart.
Yes,
they're very smart.
Yeah.
That's what makes them difficult sometimes. Yeah. Their intelligence.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Rosie Freckles, I love.
Yeah. So I had a dog, Rosie, leading me up to it.
Did you?
Rosie was a rescue. We got Rosie to try to control Bruno.
Oh.
And people had said if you get a 2-year-old female, sometimes they will put the dog in its place. And we thought that maybe having another dog for Bruno would be helpful.
Yeah.
So we rescued Rosie. She looked like a Rottweiler. She had like 7 different breeds. We did one of those, DNA tests. So she had a lot of lab in her, but she looked like a Rottweiler. And we found her. She was like roaming the streets of the Bronx, I think, on Christmas Eve, So she came like from this chain link, fenced in pound.
Yes.
And we got her, and we had to work through a lot with her. And she was tough.
Yeah.
She was a tough street dog, and she did keep Bruno in his place for 6 weeks.
Okay.
And then the honeymoon was over.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we had Rosie for I think we're not sure because we're not sure if she was 2 or 1.5 or 3 when we got her, somewhere between 17 and 18 years old when she passed a couple of years ago. And I did want to bring this up on this episode that, I don't know how many people have ever had the chance. Okay. That was not the right word.
No, I actually think that could be true with what you're saying.
Well, it was the opportunity to give her a passing that wasn't painful.
Yes.
So we brought her to the vet to end her life because she was clearly not going to get up again, and there was stuff coming out of her eyes, and it was bad. Like we had waited and waited and waited. She couldn't stand up, or the back legs were giving out. Anyway, it was time. And my daughter, Gretchen, and my husband, I went and I sat in the back of the car with her the way back. And I just, without my seat, just snuggled up with her. And then we brought her in. My husband and my daughter and I carried her in on her bed because she couldn't walk. Mm-hmm. We put her right in there. And it was really a peaceful process.
Yeah.
It was so peaceful and loving. We just pet her. She just looked in her eyes. She shut her eyes and just kind of went to sleep. And there was no pain. No, anything. It was just, I really felt that with her in that moment, and maybe it's not right for every dog but it was the right thing to do. And it made me wonder about, why don't we do this for people? Because I've witnessed people attempting to pass where it was just so arduous.
I think about that
and painful.
Often. Yeah. Because so all 3, Smokey, Hunter, and Lexi, a few months ago, we put down for the same reasons. I can just feel when, Smokey couldn't get up.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Lexi couldn't get up as well. Yeah. And you just know when it's right.
Yeah.
And I actually agree when you say the chance. I know that feels weird, but I think it is a beautiful opportunity that we have to be a part of that passing.
Yeah.
And because I think it gives us a sense of solace, but it can be pretty remarkable, I think, that experience, and give something to your family. It's like a goodbye.
Yeah. And I felt like she told me that it was time, I felt it through her eyes, I just felt like she was almost begging me.
Yes.
Don't hold on any longer.
100%.
Yeah.
Because then it's the question of whether it's about them or about us, and letting them go
is for them.
can be a
Can
really
be,
beautiful gift. And I do often think about that with regard to humans as well, because we seem to hold on. I mean, we do have death with dignity laws here.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, fun conversation.
I know.
I love thinking about our doggies.
I know. They
And
bring a lot to our lives.
yes, for sure. So thanks for bringing the topic. We'd love to hear dog stories.
Yes,
so please share them with us.
Yes, definitely share your dog stories with us. And if you have any comments or questions, please share those with us too.
Wonderful. Well, thanks, Lori.
All right. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you to our listeners, and we will see you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.